Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise Book Series. I'm Christina Kristina. This is where we read books, talk about books. Nothing special going on here, no theme music, none of like that. I've got my new shirt. My new shirt. Wear it once a week. It fits, but it accidentally and it works. Tomorrow's the old birthday, so please check out my birthday videos tomorrow. We are on season 4 of disc 6, episode 197. We have done the drumhead. We have done Half-Life. Both of those videos nobody watched. I don't know why. If you could please go back and watch those, I'd so much appreciate it. Usually Star Trek videos do okay. And they have fallen flat on the face. Completely zero. If you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. It's a birthday. However, if you're gonna subscribe, please stay subscribed. Apparently there's this curse with me only. I don't know why. But every time I get a burst of subscribers, let's say I get a burst, let's say 5 subscribers. 6 of you unsub, and I end up in the negative column for the week. So this is my birthday month. This is my birthday week. Tomorrow is my birthday. Please hit the like and subscribe. It didn't happen for Christmas. I'd like to see 200 eventually. It may never happen, but who knows? So, anyways, this is another one that's gonna make you gag. It has so many different references, and the fact that it happened here first though. This was the first idea. Okay, it happened here first. We will go through that. What I mean with this. So here we are. We've done Drumhead, Life, Half-Life, and the Host. We are here for the Host, and we start off with a overview by Beverly Crusher. I'm not sure if we've had one from her before. It's she's probably last week it was Deanna Troy, but all she said was my mother is here. So this week we've got Dr. Beverly Crusher giving a personal log stardate 44821. Begin analysis today of the respiratory bomb's experience on a beta moon of Pelar-Zel. Finally got an actual letter from Wesley. Topped class in exobiology, but he's struggling in ancient philosophies. And there's someone new in my life. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. So, we start the episode with a lip lock. Total lip lock. Her and this sexy guy. And Data walks in and interrupts it, and they're trying to plan a romantic rendezvous. They're trying to scoot off to the quarters to have a smoochy smooch, and Data interrupts, and he's like over here. So Data walks in and says, Ambassador Odon, Dr. Crusher, I was just on my way to speak with you. And Dr. Crusher's like, fix my hair. Hello, Data. I've completed my study on the atmospheric variations which have occurred on the moon since the new technology was implemented. And Odin is like, thank you, Commander. That will be most helpful in my efforts to mediate the quarrel. Data says, I could go over it with you now. It would not require more than 2 hours. And the two of them are thinking, we want to get back to the quarters so we can get together and get mushy and romantic. We want to get things going. And Data wants to talk business, and they don't want to talk business. And We do appreciate the data, but the ambassador and I have set aside this time to analyze the incident of lung disease on the moon's inhabitants. Then it is perfect timing, Doctor. What better occasion to integrate my results into your study? Odin says, now that I think about it, you're absolutely right. Commander, unfortunately, I'm not feeling well. Perhaps Dr. Crusher could get you started inputting your information. I must return to my quarters. Crusher says, Ambassador, are you still having those awful headaches? I'd better bring you a hypo spray to take care of it. So, after she finishes with Data, she's going to go off and be with Odin. And she's giving herself an excuse to go see him. I was like, yep, yeah, headaches. Yep, that's exactly what was wrong with me. I'm having headaches. Yes, yes. Oh, you must come and give me a hypo spray. Yes, 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 yes. Dr. Crusher's like, okay. And then Crusher says, put a cold cloth on your forehead. After a million years, we're still putting cold cloths on the forehead. Crusher says, I'll set you up at the medical monitor data. It'll take you a while to put in the figures, won't it? And he's like, oh, yeah, an hour. She's like, oh, good. That'll give her time to run to the quarters and do what they got to do. So, we've had our romantic rendezvous. We've had our bedroom activity. And now we're fixing the hair and doing our snuggle wuggles and stuff like that. And, they talk about how they just met 10 days ago, blah, 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 blah. And they're doing all this mushy stuff. And then it's I have this thing, and if you've been watching my podcast all this time, I have this expression. It's just. You can put whatever you want at the end of that sentence. That's up for you to put in what you want. It's just this, or it's just bad, or it's just horrible, or it's just uncomfortable, or it's just fill in your own sentence. Make it your own sentence. Do what you want. But it's just, ugh. And this is supposed to be sci-fi. This is supposed, yeah, all right, if it's part of the plot line, and I didn't know it at this point in the storyline until I got more into the storyline, because I'm only comfortable with this kind of funky stuff if it's actually part of the plot line. And this was part of the plot line, but you could see it coming. And we're going to talk about it in a second. So I have some issues here, and we'll get to it. So in the middle of all this stuff, Picard tells him the representative from Paylor Zell has arrived, where he's doing the negotiation. So then we're in the observation lounge, and that's the lady from Pelon. She's the Federation representative, and we've got a couple of cute moments in here. Let's see if I can capture them correctly, because I always screw up this stuff. So Picard is talking to her and saying her name is Lika, and she says if the news was encouraging, I would assume you would not be here. She says, I'm afraid you're correct, Captain. The situation is growing progressively worse. And Dr. Crusher walks in from one door, and Odin walks in from another door, from different directions. Oh no, we weren't together. No. She was over there and I was over there, and we're coming in from opposite doors. We were not together. That is the oldest tactic in the world. I'm going to try and do this. I know I'm going to screw up. So, Crusher walks in, and Troy says, where were you? And Crusher says, with a patient, minor emergency. Then Odin comes in the opposite side. And Picard says, Master Odin, this is Governor Lika Trion of Pelza. And Iko says, Ambassador, thank you for coming. I knew your father. His efforts helped keep our people at peace for several generations. I hope to serve you as well as he. Now, my first thinking, and we will, I probably mentioned it about 5 times, but my first thinking, before we knew the particulars, we did see, and I didn't show it, but we did see this little stomach thing growing before. And I was thinking before we got more into the stomach thing that if his father was an ambassador and he was on the planet for an extended period of time, then him and the ambassador would have met when he was a kid. They would have had ceremonies. His father might have introduced them. They might have been over for dinner, stuff like that. They might have known each other. But in this instance, she's coming to him as this complete stranger. And that's like, that has you thinking, if his father had done all this stuff, then how come she didn't know him from past? And it isn't until later on that we get through the stomach stuff that we get an idea. So Beta gives it away by asking Odin if his headache is any better from the turbo lift. Now let me see if I can catch this, because I don't know if I can catch this correctly, but I shall try. Okay. The little smirky there. The little smirky there. Let's see. The little smirky there. She knows. She knows. You see it. She knows. What did I write? I didn't write. But she knows. She knows exactly. She knows exactly what's going on. So then they get an update from the lady about what's going on from the over there. She says, Picard says Governor Lacta has intercepted us before we reach her planet in order to update us on the situation. Liga says the people on our moons have been in discord ever since they migrated from our planet 5 centuries ago. To us on the planet, they're like two squabbling children. We try to help settle their arguments by not taking sides, but this time we are at a loss. Odin says, I've been studying the information you sent. If I understand correctly, the people of Alpha Moon have found a way to tap into the magnetic field of your planet and now rely exclusively on that energy source. Lika says, yes, but the Beta Moon is now suffering some environmental damage as well. The monitor, then they show the pictures of the planets. Data says, my design model suggests the Beta will eventually experience rising temperatures, erratic tide surges, and the beginnings of global warming. Where have I heard that before? Let me think. The impact on the health of the Beta people is clear. There will be profound medical repercussions. In our case, thus far, it's nature's issue and structural issue, flooding, tidal waves, heat waves, cold waves. But it will get to this point eventually in this country. Some people believe it's a thing. Some people believe it's not a thing. Everybody's got their own views, and none of us will be alive to see it. But it will happen, but we just won't be here to see it. So Lika says Alpha is unwilling to give up its newfound energy. Beta is accusing them of courting genocide, and they go back and forth and they talk about it and there'll be a Pelzar in 6 hours. The Odin is going to do the treaty thing, and they bring up the fact that they'll just have Odin transport down, and plot twist alert. He can't go down, beam down. He can't beam down. He has to go in a shuttlecraft. Plot alert. Bells and whistles going off. So, we get that situation. Okay, so everybody leaves. But I had to leave it here because if I wait for her to leave the room, then the camera does a close-up. And I wanted to have the space shot. I also want to show you, and please forgive me for the noise. I didn't realize there's noise until I did a playback. But apparently there's noise. And apparently there's a co-host up yonder. Smoke! Smoke! Has my girl. See? She loves mommy. She's not the comfort cat that my Sinatra was, and I will talk about him in tomorrow's video, and I talked about him all last year. But she's the I will come to you when I want to. I will let you hold me when I want to be held, which is 90% of the cats in this world. Then you get the others breed, which is very, very rare breed that will come to you when you want, will let you hold them when you want, will stay on your lap forever, whatever you want. But that cat's rare, and I got to get me a few more. So we are back to Picard and Troy having a little conversation, and she says she's feeling fluctuations from him, and Picard says it's probably perfectly normal for a Trill, and Troy's like, yeah, it could be, and you see what happens. But I love the look on Troy's face. She sits down and she's ready for her manicure and pedicure, and she turns around and she goes, oh, look who's here. And they have a little TikTok, chit chat about how much Beverly's in love with Odin and how much he makes her feel. And oh, good God. Beverly, you're in love. Crusher says, sometimes I wish you weren't so empathic. Troy says, I really don't think it's a secret. Crusher says, it isn't. You've been glowing. I thought they only said that to pregnant women. Oh, must be the astringent. What? Nothing. Crusher says, oh yes, there is what? It's just that I sense something in Odin. Crusher's like, what? What do you sense? It's just, how well do you really know him? Crusher says, I feel I've known him better than I've known anyone in my life. Am I being foolish? I don't think so, and yet I've only known him for a couple of weeks. Of course, that could be infatuation, but I'm a grown-up, and I know the difference between love and infatuation. All I know is I haven't felt this way in a long time. And you like it. And Crusher's like, yes, and I like it. However, we don't know yet. Alright, I'm going to show this real quick. But she was our Trill that we knew, right? From Deep Space Nine. And we know from Deep Space Nine, now we didn't know it here, because I believe Deep Space Nine had not started yet. But we know it from Deep Space Nine that the Trill have hosts, like some other people we know, and we'll be talking about that. We've got a lot to say about that. So they have this little love chat, and that's done with. Okay, so then Odin and Picard have a talk. They've entered the planet's orbit. They're going to be transporting him down to the planet in a few minutes. He says he's ready. Picard says, how will you proceed? Odin says, I cannot answer that. I never know. I never know until I'm into a situation, meet the people involved. I work very much by instinct, not by prearranged plan. Picard says, it seems to work well for you. Odin says, I do like to go into a situation as well informed as possible, and I must say that your staff has been quite helpful in briefing me on the problems down there, particularly Dr. Crusher. Picard says, my staff is quite capable. I'm glad they've been useful. And Odin tries to have a man-to-man talk with him about Beverly. And it's just, the whole thing is just so uncomfortable, massively uncomfortable. And then they say the shuttle is ready, and he's going to go to the shuttle, and he's going to go with Riker. Okay, so then Odin and Riker, I don't know how well you can see that, are in the shuttle, and they're headed down to the planet. But then the ship comes out of nowhere and fires on them. And they want to beam them back, but Oden is like, no, you can't beam me back. It'll kill me, because he's fallen and he's been injured. So Riker takes the shuttle back in manually, and then the next time we see Oden, they're in surgery. I'm trying to find a good group shot, and I can't find a good group shot. See if it backs up a little. Well, there's one of him. So I forgot to mention that once they left in the shuttle, they got under fire from somebody on the planet, and the shuttle got injured, and he got injured. And like I said, he didn't want to be beamed aboard the craft, so Riker had to drive back. And then they get into sick bay, and Crusher's examining him. And sorry, if you know my videos, you know she goes off all the time. She doesn't tell time anymore. Bing, 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 bing. 11. She never does 12. She hasn't done 12 in a long time. So Crusher is examining him. He's in shock. He's lost a lot of blood, but that still doesn't explain these readings. And she's reading all this stuff out. And she's telling him, there's a parasite at work. Oden, I need to do exploratory. You may have a parasitic infection. Oden says you must not. Crusher says you won't survive. Then she notices the movement in abdomen. Crusher says, what is that? He says, that's me. Oden explains to her that the body is just a host. He is the parasite, and that is what must survive. It must always been this way. The Trill have joined a species and a host and a symbiote, and in the fashion we survive for a millennium. You're dying. What can I do? The host body is dying. You must contact Trill world. Tell them I need another host. They will send a replacement. I know this is difficult to accept, but I beg you, Doctor, to help me with this mission. I must complete this mission. So she's examining Oden, and he's telling her that she must remove the symbiote thingy, and contact the Trill. And like I said, it reminds me of the Dax lady. However, I did want to point out that, and I will show this again later. Well, maybe I should just show it later. All right, so we're gonna go to the observation. Okay, I'm trying for a group shot here. I don't know. The camera pans out. Come on, pan out, pan out, pan out. Okay, well that'll have to work. So Dr. Crusher is saying that Odin's host body died of injuries just after an hour ago, but the symbiote being Odin is alive. Odin is the one who negotiated the last treaty, but the man everyone thought was his father was just another host body. And the reason Odin refused the transporter, Crusher said it would have damaged the symbiote. Picard says, we've contacted Trill. Another host will be here in 40 hours. Crusher says, I've placed Odin in stasis. He can survive another hour, maybe two, but not beyond that. Would it be possible for me to serve as a temporary carrier? Crusher says, no. The relationship requires a biological being. Picard says, we are at a desperate impasse at the Pellar system. The attack on the shuttlecraft has inflamed the dispute. Troy says, who is responsible? Picard says, no one will admit. Each side accuses the other, and threats are mounting. We need Odin. Riker volunteers to be the host. Now, where did I write it? I know I wrote it here somewhere, and I'll probably say it again because, but I don't think this is a good idea because of all the people on the Enterprise, who knows all the computer systems? Who knows all the passwords? Who knows all the strategical information? Yeah, they may be an ally, but there's something. I'm seeing a reflection somewhere. Sorry. That if I turn it this way, that's a bit better. Even if they're an ally, why are you giving an ally such uh knowledge, access to such knowledge? They're giving them access to all of Riker's data of all the people that they should choose for his sim. Riker, with all the past second in command of the Enterprise, it just doesn't work for me. I have a whole bunch of issues with it. Okay. I don't know how well this is translating to your screen, but remind you of anybody? Now, this is the symbiote. This is the goule symbiote that in about 6 years' time will become a prominent member of our goule Jaffa society. This little sucker. Not this big, huge guy. No, that's just too big. We gotta thin him down to here. And she had that guy in just a dry, misty thing. He's supposed to be in water. See? Oh, my co-host. I took a picture. She's sleeping in the sun. So, when I'm thinking, symbiote, I'm thinking of this guy here. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking the enemy. I'm thinking somebody that's gonna learn all our secrets. I don't want them to learn all our secrets. Riker should not have been the person to do this. And then the afterwards, you can see it coming. The writing is on the wall. If you know what I'm talking about, the writing is on the wall. So she does the surgery, and like I said, it's just that's just way too big. I don't know why they thought something that big. I like Stargate Atlantis' symbiote better. But anyways, I mean it's creepy and all, but that's just way too big to accept that it didn't push all his organs out of the way, it didn't do too much to his insides, whereas the goule symbiote sometimes it fused to your spine, but this looks like it would take up too much room and push all your organs out of the way and play with your lungs and your gallbladder. It just would play with too many organs, I think. But she does the surgery. So then, I guess to differentiate between Riker and Odin. Now remember, when the Goa'uld or the Jaffa or somebody, like, they were like talking, and then the person goes, I want to speak to the host, and they close their eyes, and then they open it again, and there's a spark of light. They do one of those things. Riker, they put in different clothing. I think Atlantis' was better. So then he's trying to convince the governor that he's the same person. He's telling her that he's actually his father. It's just a different host body. He's explaining about the trills and all this stuff. And we got all that in Deep Space Nine. If you haven't watched Deep Space Nine, and we will do that, but we've got a few others. We're going to go through Voyager first and Deep Space Nine and the movies and the whole one thing at a time here. But I'm just saying that all this is revealed later on, and we learn more about the trills in Deep Space Nine. But I could see it coming. So he convinces her to continue the talks, and then Crusher and Riker are gonna have a moment. It's still me. I'm in a different body. Sorry about the sun. I don't know what to do about the sun. But she's doing a medical exam of Riker, and he's trying to explain to her that it's still him. He's still the same person inside. It's like I broke a leg or I disfigured my face or something, and I'm trying to convince you it's still me. I'm still the same person I was before. Maybe I had a sex transplant or something, and I'm still me, but I'm in Riker's body now. And Beverly's like, but Riker's my brother. I can't be romantic with my brother kind of situation. Then she goes, talks to Troy. So, it's not me, it's you type situation. I'm still me, but I'm in a different body situation. So, Crusher and Troy have a conversation in 10 Forward. Crusher confesses when she was a little kid, she fell in love with Stefan. She tells her whole childhood story about a little romance thingy. And, the whole thing bothers Troy because, she's in love with Riker. And she says to Beverly, don't wish that, Beverly. You can't be open to love if you don't risk pain. Crusher says, I don't care. I'd give anything not to feel the way I do now. He's here, isn't he? Because Riker walks in. Look at him. I don't want to look at him. Talk to me. Just keep talking to me. And the first man I ever loved was my father. He was strong and tall. He carried me around the playground when he had money. And he chased the monsters away from under my bed. This is all Troy. She's telling her little story. And then we get an overview from the captain. Representatives of the two moons of Pelazell have agreed to come on board to meet the new ambassador of Odin. So, Crusher goes back and examines Odin as Riker, and he's getting sick, and he's having a reaction to the parasite in his body. She's trying to give treatments. So then the two ambassadors come in, Kaylin Tros of Alpha Moon and Lathabine of Beta Moon, and she's thanking them for coming, and they're going to talk to Riker, and Riker has to prove that he's still Odin. So he talks about incidents from a long, long ago when he was his father, or in the person who was supposed to be his father's body, let's put it that way. And he tells them stuff that no one else would know about the personal interactions, because he had personal interactions with these two beings, and he proves who he is, so they accept him. And then Riker has more health issues after this. So then she says his vital functions are overworked, his immune system is under attack. I can only guess that he's suffering from classic rejection syndrome. Picard says, is there any treatment you can give him? And she's been administering immune suppressant. That could relieve the symptoms, but it can't correct the underlying cause. There is a foreign organism in his body. Medical school didn't exactly prepare me for situations like this. And, a few years later, we'll know a whole lot more. Maybe these people should fast forward to the future and talk to Stargate Atlantis peeps. What do you think that Star Trek peeps would think about Atlantis, about an entire planet being able to fly like a starship? What would they think? That this whole structure, this whole housing structure just comes up out of the water. Instead of just a ship, it's an entire city. An entire city of Atlantis just flies up and will end up in the San Francisco Bay at the end. I'm just saying. So tell me, so after the talk with Troy, she decides to accept Odin as Riker, and Riker and her have another romantic liaison. Now, I want to ask you something if you're still here. Will Riker now have carnal knowledge of Crusher? Will he remember all this stuff? Because in the Jaffa and the Goule, they know all this stuff. They have memories from both. And the symbiote gives them additional memories that the symbiote carries. The symbiote carries knowledge too. For generation to generation, as long as the symbiote lives, it can have 100,000 years worth of memory in it. But so the host gets those memories. So will Riker remember being emotionally carnal knowledge of Miss Crusher? Will he remember that in the future? Will their partnership and working together be uncomfortable? How will Picard feel if he knows that his number one associate has carnal knowledge of Crusher? And it wasn't mentioned in Picard season 3 when we learned Picard had carnal knowledge of Crusher. But still, it's just so uncomfortable. I just don't like it. It just makes me feel very, very, very uncomfortable. Did they have to choose Riker? So now he's got carnal knowledge of Dr. Crusher, and he's also got all the secrets of the Federation. It's just not right. It's just not right at all. So then we have a overview, captain's log. Latita and the representatives of the two moons are ready to transport on board. We've learned that they have troops massed and are ready to combat in this for a final effort at peace, if not successful. And Crusher is monitoring Riker's health, and he's been in with the Odin. Odin has been in. Odin, aka Riker, has been in with the negotiators for 9 hours or so, and he comes out and he's absolutely wiped. So she's got to do the surgery or else he's going to die. So they get ready to do the surgery. The negotiations were successful. He talked them down. So they do the surgery. They take out the symbiote. She places it in the little jar thingy. And like I said, in Stargate, they put it in water, but in this, she's putting it in a misty thing. So Riker is better. He's healing. And I skipped a whole scene. I knew there was something missing. Oh well. So they take the thing out of Riker. Riker gets better. How much the thing actually pertains of his knowledge of Starfleet, we don't know. And you can see this coming. I could see it coming. She's talking with Picard. And Will is going to be all right. His vital signs have stabilized, and he's sleeping now. Picard says, "How is Odin?" "I've placed him in stasis. He's fine for the moment. You need some rest, Doctor." "No, if Odin is to survive, he needs to be implanted in the new host as soon as he arrives. I'll wait here." "It'll be some time." Crusher's like, "I know," and she falls asleep. And Worf brings in the new host. And tell me you didn't see this coming. And the Trill host walks in, and it's a girl. And she does the surgery. Tell me you didn't see this coming, that the new host was going to be a girl. Because Dax on Deep Space Nine, when she first was a person, and the captain of Deep Space Nine knew the person, it was as a guy. So when she comes in as Dax, she has all the guy's memories. So that's what I'm saying about Riker. He has all the memories now. Will he retain carnal knowledge of Dr. Crusher? Will he remember Odin's feelings for Dr. Crusher? So then Dr. Crusher has done the surgery, and the operation to implant Odin into the new host was completed at 1900 hours and appears to have been successful. There was no difficulties in a simulation. Cariel comes in. Dr. Beverly, could we talk a moment? Crusher says, you should be sleeping. You need to rest. Cariel says, I've never felt better except once or twice. My poor Beverly, this has been so hard for you. I want to thank you for your caring, for your standing by me. Crusher says, I congratulate you. You avert a war that would have cost many lives. Yes, it seems as though everything has turned out for the best, and yes, I am still Odin, and I still love you. I cannot imagine that ever changing. Crusher says, I'm glad that you're all right. Kilo says, is there nothing more? Crusher says, perhaps it's a human thing, but we are not accustomed to these kinds of changes. I can't keep up. How long will you live in this house? What would the next one be? I can't live with that kind of uncertainty. Perhaps someday our ability to love won't be so limited. And Callie is like, I understand, and kisses the wrist like Odin used to do, and then leaves, and that's the end of the episode. So, I don't know. I'm still concerned about the Trill knowing all of Enterprise's secrets, and I'm still concerned, and I don't think it's ever brought up. I will have to check out the next episode. If Riker remembers any of the carnal knowledge of Dr. Crusher, and if Riker remembers any of Odin's feelings for Dr. Crusher, and how will that impede him with Troy? Because you know there's impeding coming. Those writers had fun with our hearts. You know that. So that is the end of the host. I hope you stayed with me through this whole thing. It is my birthday weekend. And so we've done the drumhead, we've done half a life, we've done the host, and I hope you're with me next week for the mind's eye. So please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job. I really appreciate y'all sticking around and listening to my complaining about Stargate Atlantis and the symbiote and the Jaffa and how they, I mean, you know, somebody saw this and got an idea how they could improve it. Because you know Stargate, SG-1, and Atlantis is much, much better than this little thing here. But, I mean, Dax took it a little further in Stargate 9. But you have to admit Stargate did it better. The way they did that whole thing, they did it a lot better. So hit the like and subscribe. Thank you.